Hello and welcome to the Diminishing Returns podcast. We're here again. Hello, my name is Alan Turing, and with me as always is Sol Harris.
Hello.
That's where you say hello, yeah. And joining us again this week from Why This Film podcast is Emily Slade.
Hell yeah, it's me.
Yes, hello. Yes. So as you join us, as of recording, we are on the eve of a new glorious socialist republic. We're all very excited, waiting for the British general election results to come in. But
I'm so stressed.
Right, let's put the groundwork in here. We're talking about Bad Boys and the sequel Bad Boys 2.
Have we done Michael Bay before? We did Transformers, didn't we?
We did all the Transformers films.
They changed cinema. Transformers changed cinema.
For the better.
For better or for worse, they changed cinema. I'll give him that.
Yes, so Bad Boys, 1995. It was actually Michael Bay's debut as a film director. He was previously music videos and adverts and that sort of thing.
He did a Reservoir Dogs with it. That's my hot take on it. I was like, what the fuck? Who directed this? And then when I found out afterwards, I was like, oh, pleasantly surprised. Peaked.
Peaked. Well, obviously
this is...
Well, perhaps it is, Michael Bay with some limitations. Perhaps that's what we see in Bad Boys, the first one. Of course, it was a big success, and he went on to do bigger and louder films. And Jerry Bruckheimer and Don Simpson, who were the producers, were well established by this point. They'd done Top Gun, Beverly Hills Cop, and all this sort of stuff. They were pretty big. Of course, they were trying to get Eddie Murphy in this film.
Were they?
Are you joking, or is that real?
No, they were. It was, of course, they were trying to get him.
It would have
still
sucked.
A hot property.
Oh,
well, it would have.
He'd gone past his prime by that point. Yeah, definitely.
It's interesting what you say about Michael Bay having some restraints put on him with these films, and I do think that's absolutely true. I think you can see him getting very increasingly self-indulgent as his filmography progresses. A certain just weird I mean, you can see all the DNA for it here, but it's reined in a bit more. Just these weird little comic moments that are like very weak, like clearly improvised comedy sketches that just run on too long. And another thing he's got a real fetish for, judging from his filmography as a whole, is like comedy black people, like a sort of arguably problematic stereotype black man,
sassy black woman.
Yeah, all of them really. He just loves to cram them in there to the point that in Transformers 2, was it? You had a quote unquote black robot who was, running around shouting "damn" and all that. It's like Tarantino is obsessed with the N-word, and he knows he's not allowed to say it, so he either has to write nasty villain characters to say it, because they're bad people, or black people, so you end up with a lot of both in his films. And I think Michael Bay's the same. He probably just loves all this kind of black vernacular
culture.
So he crams it into his films.
I don't really watch Will Smith movies. Like, I won't go and watch a movie just because Will Smith is the lead. And I never fancied him growing up. But he made this movie bearable.
Yeah, I used to love Will Smith when I was younger. I really there was probably a time when I would have put him up as my favourite or second favourite actor. Like, I thought he was fantastic. I don't know, I've really gone off him as I've grown up. I don't know if that's just his career's gone a bit shit, but I don't know, I even go back to older films of his and feel like I'm seeing through the cracks a bit. We covered Men in Black recently, and I love Men in Black, but I was making the argument that it's really all about Tommy Lee Jones, and I was insisting you could put a number of young subordinate kind of characters.
I believe I insisted that you were wrong. So
yeah.
I think I would believe that.
No. You see, the thing is, right? Will Smith, he does have a certain charm. That he has that Will Smith charm, and he does bring something that other people would not bring. It doesn't mean he's irreplaceable, but he is bringing
But,
the Will Smith charm, and that shows.
But I
and
think
it's the same. That's the problem. It's the same now as it was 25 years ago. That's partly the problem. It's the same as Tom Cruise.
I don't know if
it's just kind of there's this fatigue because it's sort of the same thing every time.
Well, you're not. Who has Tom Cruise fatigue? People like Tom Cruise now more than ever, Alan.
Yeah, but 10 years ago.
I'm not even joking.
10 years ago, they didn't.
Oh, yeah, he's come back round.
Exactly.
The other side,
Will Smith will as well.
You're right.
Will Smith will come back round.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is, watching this, I kind of got it again. It was like, oh yeah, there's that Will Smith charm. There it is.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. That's what this was like. He is good, isn't he?
And Emily, you used the word there, made this film bearable, which little clue as to how you might feel about the film. But
I don't want to be that stereotype of like, this isn't a movie for my demographic, but unfortunately...
Well, this is what, interestingly, because you've been on our show a couple of times before, and both times doing films that you were very familiar with and kind of had a lot of nostalgic feeling for, like films you watched as a child.
Yeah.
So when we asked you to do this, and you'd never seen it, and that's kind of, we wanted a bit of an outsider's point of view, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. I would be interested to see how you feel about this, because it's definitely a film from my youth. Like this is like this and Nicolas Cage films from the mid-90s. Like that's what I watched when I was 13, 14, and it's great. It's amazing.
Okay.
It definitely has. Me now, it doesn't have the same appreciation for it. Yeah, fair enough. But having said that, I will say that I really do like Bad Boys. I think the secret ingredient is the chemistry between Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. Will Smith does have an amazing charm that he brings to it. Martin Lawrence is at his peak here. I think he's never been used better. And I speak as a man who enjoys Big Mama's House. But
my knowledge of Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2 came entirely from Hot Fuzz before I sat down and watched them.
Oh man, I mean, I'd seen Bad Boys 2 before. I'd never actually seen Bad Boys, the first one, before this recording. But
really?
Bad Boys 2 I went to see at the cinema, and I forgot how much of it is in Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
Like, I knew Hot Fuzz was drawing heavily from it with camera movements and quotes, but the extent of it was somewhat lost on me.
And so you're not as big a fan of Edgar Wright anymore, because he's a plagiarist. You just like Michael Bay.
I mean, they're probably my least favourite parts of Hot Fuzz, to be perfectly honest.
So I want to jump right in on our opening scene, which immediately, in about 3 minutes, it establishes our two principal characters, the tone between them, and the kind of comedic tone of the film. It's where they get an attempted carjack in which they foil.
I didn't know this was a comedy.
Oh.
I had no idea it was meant to be a comedy, and it started, and I was like, am I meant to be finding this funny?
This is all Michael Bay movies, though. They're all billed as serious action movies, and then you get into them, and you've got John Malkovich walking around an office saying he wants to box your Shia LaBeouf's robot, and you just sort of think, wait, hang on, what? And I think it's just the sort of audience that these films are made for in earnest aren't discerning enough to be like, what the fuck? What's going on?
Yeah.
It's not like an out and out comedy. It's not gags. Well, there are some, but it's the comedy comes from the characters and the banter between them, and the villain is very serious.
There are out and out comedy sketches, like I say, certainly in the second one,
yeah.
which I suppose is quite a different beast and was obviously given more free play. But there's nothing quite on par with rats fucking in the missionary position in the first film. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think the first film is a lot more
conventional. Yeah,
well, I think that's one of the complaints, certainly when it was released. In terms of criticism, was it's just a standard buddy cop film. It's just Lethal Weapon. It's Beverly Hills Cop. It's like it's not really doing anything new.
Whoa! Beverly Hills Cop's not a standard buddy cop movie, Shrek.
Didn't let him in. We didn't open the door. What's going on?
He climbed in through the window, Alan. That movie's elevated to a whole new level by its cast.
Oh my god.
Sorry,
It's all right. It's all right. It's not problematic because it's not.
Sorry, Emma,
it's actually Eddie Murphy.
It's Eddie Murphy just pops in.
It's not a white man doing a black man's voice, which is questionable. He's just actually here in the studio.
It's okay. It's a perfect impression.
Friend of the show.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
He's been on the show before about 3 times.
Yeah, he's quite annoying though. He never shuts up.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Apart from that film, which is all about him shutting up.
I've never seen a standard buddy cop movie.
Oh, really?
So
you're missing out.
I didn't. When I was watching the first one, I was like, I don't hate it. I'm not saying I loved it, but I don't know what I expected. I guess I expect because you know how films these days are like trash and they're like all over the place and 3 hours too long and don't make any sense. Mm-hmm. And this was like a coherent 3-act structure of like a movie. And I have to say, like by the third act, I had like switched off when there was like Michael Bay was coming in with his explosive devices.
Yeah.
I was like, ugh.
You know, thinking about it, I don't know if I've ever seen a straight down the line buddy movie. I think I'm almost like our conversation about musical theatre last time you were on the show, where we sort of said that I only really like musicals that are a bit postmodern and self-aware.
Yeah, musicals for non-musical people.
Yeah, I think I've only really ever seen... Like, my idea of a buddy cop movie is Bad Boys and Beverly Hills Cop, both of which are somewhat postmodern in their approach to the material, or a great number of films about policemen being paired up with dogs. But that's a different that's a different story altogether. Turner
Toy
and Hooch
Story.
And Top
Is that
Dog.
a buddy cop movie? Like anything with like two male lead friendship where they like have different character perspectives.
Well, technically they have to be cops. I mean, that's sort of...
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, I think Woody is a cop, Alan.
He's a sheriff.
Arguably Buzz Lightyear is a space cop, so... Egg on your face.
Fair enough.
Toy Story is a buddy cop movie.
But yeah, I think the buddy cop genre... It's quite an 80s thing, really. It's not like it's got some real long history. It was never very serious. Like even Lethal Weapon is a totally serious film, but it's still got.
Oh, I have seen Lethal Weapon. All right, I've seen a proper.
What
one.
Is Lethal Weapon? Is that the one that they do in? Is that when someone's under the car?
So, okay, this is not a genre for you, obviously, Emily.
Yeah, and as I say, I really hate being that stereotype. I wish I could have come to it and been like, oh wow, it's really introduced me to a genre I'm really interested in. But as someone that was like obsessed with 80s fantasy anyway, I don't think I was ever going to be swung by Michael Bay blowing shit up. And I was pleasantly surprised with what I assumed was going to be a severe amount of sexism that turned out to be not as much sexism, but still incredibly prevalent sexism.
Oh god,
so
it's all the it's when people talk about living in a patriarchy. It's that kind of, you know,
vibe,
passive misogyny that people aren't necessarily consciously aware of, but is very prevalent. And you know, a little bit of homophobia too, a little bit of
just thrown in there for good measure.
Yeah.
I wrote down all of the women that appeared.
Oh, hooker with a heart of gold.
Well, yeah, it's like second receptionist, wife, daughter, ooh, a named woman, ooh, another, oh, she's died and she's a prostitute.
Oh, and this one's like, turns out this one was the fuck up who ruined everything.
What about Yvette the masseuse?
Don't remember her.
She massages shit.
Oh yeah, the one that turned up in her lingerie and then was kicked out of the flat.
Yeah,
amazing.
You missed that one. Good character depth.
I'm ever so sorry. I didn't even realise she had a name.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to our principal characters. So Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, play Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett. One of them's a rich playboy bachelor. One of them's a family man. I mean, it's basically the original Odd Couple, aren't they?
When they come together.
Who's like, the subplot, like character arc was that his wife wouldn't have sex with him.
Yes, we got the family man who is not getting any quality time with his wife, which, of course, as we all know, when you're married, you stop having sex. This is a fact.
And I thought initially, I was like, okay, maybe they're just going through like a relationship hiccup. I will try and buy this. And then 3 to 5 children come into the bedroom. And I was like, okay, why do I care that your wife's not having sex with you? Like,
it's funny. Don't you get it?
Oh, is it funny because women are like shitty and mean and men just want sex and funny,
that's right, yeah.
funny. Sorry, Michael Bay, I missed the joke there.
Because she's a strong woman, you see. She rules the house.
Yeah, so that of course means that she's frigid. Because women don't. Fun fact: women don't actually enjoy sex. We do it for you, and that's why we can withhold it.
Yeah, we know.
Whenever we please.
We know that. I've seen stand-up comedians. I know.
Yeah.
But also, then Will Smith flirts with her, or at least pretends to, and he doesn't like it. So it's not like he's gone off her. He's still extremely
oh no, protective, like overprotective to the point where he'll come to the house in the middle of the night and try to break in.
Yeah.
Because that's what we all want.
Do you feel there's a lack of trust in this relationship?
Yeah.
Marcus and his wife.
Do you think the lack of trust is perhaps justified?
Well, because he lies to her all the time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he seems pretty happy to cheat on her.
He's not. What are you talking about?
Or at least
cheat on her?
At least attempt to.
When?
Oh, he's
When's he trying to cheat on her?
He wants to, and she's all like, I feel weird, and he's all like, oh, this is really difficult for me to like go through. I must call my wife because like my penis is erect, and it's like, oh,
yeah, he's doing his best to stay faithful.
There's an implication.
Oh, doing his best to stay faithful. Do you listen to yourself?
There's an implication that he's done it many times before.
No, there isn't. What are you talking about? He's very faithful.
She's always like, you were out till God knows when again. What were you doing? Oh, I was doing nothing. I wasn't doing anything.
It's such a struggle to stay devoted to my wife, who I apparently love.
Yeah, it is.
When really my only thing that's keeping me to her is like...
See, that's the thing. He should have like been when Will Smith was coming onto her. He should have been like, oh great, if she cheats on me with him, then I get like a free ticket to do what I want.
But that's not how he feels.
But Will Smith was never coming on to her.
What do you mean?
That's the thing as well. They don't trust each other. Where are the movies where the man is like, of course my best friend won't cheat with my wife? Like, that's not a given. Whereas he's like, oh God, Will Smith's definitely cheating on my wife. Like, it's like,
well,
I thought you were besties.
He just appreciates that there's a hierarchy, and Will Smith is very much top billed in this franchise, and there's a reason for that. He's more charming. He's the rich one. He's got all the money, and he's better looking. So,
yeah, I do like that he was like parent rich, like he just got left loads of money.
Yeah.
Rather than being like a sort of self-made, like, and he was a genius at the age of 12, and now
because he's got to be a cop, hasn't he? It's like the idea of a rich person going into police force just because they like it is pretty ridiculous. Yeah.
Well, I assume the only reason for that in the film is so that they have a big empty flat that Martin Lawrence can use in the plot.
Hilarious scene.
I'll tell you exactly why it is, Sol. It's so that they can have a big fancy car in it, because that's what Michael Bay likes. A $100,000 Porsche. True. And that's the only justification they can have for him having a very expensive car that he can speed around in.
I got very tired very quickly as well of the plot, which was basically, oh no, like, in order to save this woman's life, I've had to pretend to be Will Smith, and now I've got to continue to pretend to be Will Smith without informing my wife of the situation, or just coming clean with the hostage, like, at any point.
Yeah, it's like... Yeah, we do get it, the original setup where, he has to pretend to be May Laris as she comes in. But then, like, as soon as Will Smith's back, you just go, okay, well, this is the...
Yeah, and then they don't. And I'm like...
It's comedy, that's why. It's comedy fodder. You got to think of this on a sort of 1980s sitcom level. That's the level we're looking at plot wise.
I've got a note here that says, "God forbid he be gay." Don't ask me what it was about, but I assume there was a joke where it was oh no.
I think that comes up a number of times.
There's a couple of
once every 20 minutes
scenarios where someone could be confused as being gay.
And I know that it's the 90s, and I know that it was always going to be a bit dated in that sort of unwoke way. But
classic gay panic, isn't it? I think you're probably referring to. There's a scene where she sees he has lots of pictures of Will Smith in his allegedly his flat, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's my partner," and they miss a joke about her going, "Oh, you mean like your
too obvious. So I'll give my.
They don't go down that route. They don't go down that route. She goes for, because I thought you might be lovers.
Yeah, these pictures up here for every time he saved my life, and it's the same thing with him. If you go to his place, ain't nothing but pictures of me, Mike Lowry, because it's like a shrine. It's just a reminder.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, when I saw it, it was like the whole wall, I thought maybe there were, pictures of your lover.
Of who?
I thought that maybe you were gay.
I was gay. No, baby.
I mean, I didn't mean to offend you. No. It's like okay to be a homosexual, Mike.
No, you're not listening. It's not registering, okay? Believe me. Did you sleep in the bed? You didn't feel the dents? Yeah, the dents come from all that. That's how it gets down, okay?
Oh, that's sweet.
Gay. I'll change the drapes in this motherfucker.
Yeah.
But
the thing is, I think this film is about a love between these two men. So they have to really kind of hammer home that it's not gay. It's not gay. They just have a healthy respect.
And
like love for each
Frodo
other.
and Sam.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that is gay, though, isn't it? I mean, if we're honest about it.
No, it's a pure friendship.
Oh, God forbid they be gay. Oh, gay
eternally.
panic, Emily.
No, but it's like, but this is the thing as well. Like, why can't men just be friends? Like, it's very rare that we do see movies where men are genuinely just caring and sensitive friends. Like, these two people have a go at each other all the time. Like, it opens with him being like, "Don't you dare spill your chips on my expensive Porsche," or whatever, and it's like. Whatever.
Well, this is art reflecting reality, though, isn't it? You need to ask why doesn't society allow men to be like that?
Yeah.
But this is how
it's frustrating.
This is a sort of it's maybe not particularly realistic, but this is the sort of relationship that perhaps men have more than women, where they're breaking each other's balls all the time, and it's kind of like it's always just like that friction. These two particularly, that's kind of what they thrive on.
I mean, ball play is pretty gay.
The what? Sorry.
Ball play.
Breaking balls.
Pretty gay.
It's
pretty
really
gay.
getting fucking fresh.
How come I know the name Tia Leone so well, as if she's like a huge
Do you know what?
star,
I wanted to ask
but
about
I don't think
Tia
I've ever
Leone.
seen her in anything.
You have seen her.
Same.
Tia Leone is one. She was sort of quite big for about 5 years in the mid to late 90s. She was in Jurassic Park 3. She was in Deep Impact.
She's in The Family Man, starring Nicolas Cage.
Oh, do you want the cake?
I was saving it because I got nauseated by that pre-cooked mini-mall rotisserie chicken.
But I was going to ask about this, because Tia Leone, she's a weird one in that her career, kind of, such as it was beyond her abilities somewhat. Not that she's a bad actor, but she's not good enough to...
She's very thin, and she's very pretty, and she's got quite a different face while still being vaguely conventional.
Well, do you know what? This is what I was gonna mention that, because I think she's not got that straightforward like Hollywood starlet look. I don't think she does fall into that category of she's pretty, so
which
we'll
is
use her.
very on Michael Bay, because he tends to go for the most straight down the
Find
line.
me the hottest woman in the world.
Victoria's Secret model.
Yeah.
Women in his
but that's
films
what
where he can.
But she's not that. And
exactly.
But she also
exactly.
in what I have seen her in, she comes across with quite an attitude and but not with that, for example, like Will Smith charm that you go, oh yeah, well, that kind of supersedes a lot of acting ability a lot of the time. So some people do achieve success despite not being the best actors. That's okay. People do that all the time. But with her, it's just like, why? What was she doing?
Yeah.
She must have been really good to work with. She must have just been really...
Yeah, she must have just come with good references.
She comes across in this like she made some little indie art house film and was like a very credible actor who got a massive blockbuster off the back of it. And I'm not I doubt that's necessarily what happened. I don't know, but that's the kind of impression you get watching it, I think. And it's weird because I feel as if she kind of very quickly lost that unique look, if you know what I mean. The stuff I've seen her later on, she just kind of blends into the background, whereas she does really kind of stand out here. There is something about her, like, oh, she's got a certain charm.
She's memorable, and she's not your conventional lead.
Yeah, I do that. I was
woman.
just about to say she. It did take me a long while to realise. Oh, she's not the best friend of the female lead. She's the female lead. Okay.
No, honestly, same. I was expecting her to end up dead on the coffee table.
Yeah.
She was smart and she was capable, and the character seemed to be, and that she didn't hook up with any of them at the end. Like it was really interesting how
saving herself for Nicolas Cage.
Well, clearly, wouldn't we all? I was very surprised with where her character went and the way she was, and the way that when the wife turned up, she was like, "Oh yeah, the tall one or the short one? Yeah, I figured as much," and then just immediately grabbed her bag and left. And I was like, "Oh, amazing!" There's no like about it.
It does feel like very early on she sees what's going on, or at least she suspects. Like straight away from when she says, "What are all these pictures doing? Is he your lover?" Like it's a baiting question. She's deliberately sort of antagonizing. And then there's other bits later on, like for example the scene where she's like going, "Oh, I just fired a gun. I feel so horny." Like you could definitely read it's a bit ambiguous. Like is she really trying to seduce him because she's just feeling horny, or is she deliberately like baiting him because she knows
cool him out.
He's pretending to be? And certainly by the end of the scene, you feel like she knows what's going on and she's just having fun with it, which I quite like because they do drag that kind of character switch thing out a long way.
She's a lot smarter than I was going to give the female lead in a Michael Bay movie credit for.
I think she goes a long way to stop this film from feeling completely toxic, frankly. I think her presence does a lot of good for it. I
mean, I don't think it still doesn't pass the Bechdel test or anything like that. So.
No.
You mean her and the masseuse don't have a conversation about
politics?
About the artwork in the her dog or something. Actually, is the dog a boy? I don't know.
The only two women that do talk are the wife and her, and it's about both of the men. So like, doesn't even. That's fine. It's like her, and then there's like the receptionist who like turned out to be like sub evil, like because like it was her ex-boyfriend, and like and she was like, God, what was she like? She was like a little chick. She was like all fluffy and ferrety and weird, and all like,
"Oh, hello boys, welcome to the office. I guess I'm here now, and now I'm part of the plot. Anyway, carry on." Like she was so fucking weird. But like, I kind of liked it.
What is that receptionist about? She's obviously like done up to look like Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, it just doesn't fit in a police station, does she?
It's just bizarre.
So like again, memorable and like different, so I guess props to that, but mainly just what the fuck?
But she's such a shit character. Like all she does is, men tell her to do stuff and then sometimes it makes her cry. That is her character basically. I mean, if it felt like they were halfway towards a good character, memorable character, but they just gave up. I feel like Michael Bay puts that much effort into all his characters, but then he hires Will Smith, and Will Smith does the rest, fills in the blanks.
Well, it does feel like Michael Bay, certainly in this film, we know he let them improvise a lot, but it feels like there's a lot of that in general. Like even the sort of bad guy's henchman, there's the one sort of big fat fella and then the one with the little moustache. They're kind of bouncing off each other. They're doing little comedy bits, and I like that. I like that energy with it. It's like this whole little subplot with them, like being kind of, slapstick goons.
How do you miss him? Hey, you fat fuck! Watch your fucking mouth, will you? Look at lonesome way you would have caught him! I'd like to come over and squeeze your little fucking head, you bastard! You're in trouble. Now you're in fucking trouble! You get the license plate? Yeah, I got the fucking plates! You cockeyed fuck.
But yeah, little characters like that people seem to bring a lot of personality to. Another good example is the one of the most memorable scenes where they go into some sort of liquor store and the guy behind the counter notices they've got guns, and so he gets, preemptive and gets very defensive, pulls a gun on them. Like, that was like him saying, "Freeze mother bitches." That was improvised, as far as I understand, and like that kind of exchange between them was all very... I don't know if it was like straight up improvised or if they played around with it and cut into it or whatever, but like that's a really memorable scene. That's a character that just jumps out, even though it's a very small character who's on screen for 2 minutes. Little things like that really bring this film to life for me.
We're not police officers. I'm not stupid, I know.
What are you?
I've seen police.
I'm gonna reach for my badge, okay?
Badges? You want badges, mother bitch? I give you badges. Here, 99 cents each. I sell you some.
He got 8 fucking badges. I told you this cop thing don't work.
I blow you, then I blow you.
Blow me? What the fuck? No. Hot me?
I'm from the Middle East.
Do you see the fucking emotion I'm going through right now? That means this shit is serious, okay? That means me and this motherfucker's not vibing right now. That's what that shit means, okay?
You got something on your chest?
I got something. That's what the fuck
Do you want some of me?
The guy's got a cannon.
What do you want?
You want some? You want some bad enough, then you come get some.
Wait. Hey, freeze, bitch!
You freeze, bitch.
Oh, shit. I'm fucked. Now back up, put the gun down, and give me a pack of tropical fruit bubblicious. And some Skittles.
Yeah, it's fair.
No, it's not. The most famous scene in the film is Martin Lawrence walking through a corridor, a hallway with his gun out or something, and Will Smith's there with him, and he says, "Can we borrow a cup of brown sugar?"
Yeah, oh my god!
But
I'm not even joking. That's the scene that people quote. That's the clip they show, and the film's like on a documentary about Will Smith or something like that. That's the bit. I don't know why, but
hello. Well, you new neighbors.
Don't be alarmed, we're Negroes.
Oh man, no, that's too much bass in your voice. That scared white folks. You got to sound like them. We were wondering if we can borrow some brown sugar.
But that's it. Bear in mind, this is like the year after Rodney King and the LA riots. You know, it's like this is in America where race is a big thing. They're two young black men with guns walking into a rich white person's house. Yeah, that's social commentary, that is, and they've made it funny and making it relevant to the characters.
I don't think I found it funny. I just think I found it like, I don't know how I'm meant to feel about this.
You meant to find it fun.
Oh, well, sorry, Michael Bay. Again, I missed the joke.
Look, we can ask Eddie Murphy. Like, there's a great tradition, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, of doing a funny white guy voice. Eddie, do your white man voice.
Hello. Have you got any milk for me?
You see how funny it is? It's classic comedy.
I like non-dairy creamer.
Oh dear.
He's funny anyway.
Would you like this? Would you like the rest of this tube of garlic mayonnaise? It's too spicy for me.
You see, white people don't like spicy things. Do you get it?
No, I got it. I did get it. I did get that.
Oh god. Good old Eddie Murphy anyway. There's one major character we haven't talked about, of course. So as we know, well, you might not know this, Emily, but in buddy cop films, the buddy cops, because they don't play by the book, they have to have a person of authority, the hard ass captain who will chew them out. Now, traditionally,
yes, I did know that because Brooklyn Nine-Nine subvert that, right? Because isn't it meant to be sort of Ice Cube? Isn't it just Ice Cube?
Ice Cube is in 21 Jump Street. He plays that character.
Yeah.
Traditionally, that character is a black man. That is standard procedure.
Yes.
So obviously, in this,
the two white guys,
we've already got two of them.
Yeah.
So you got to switch it up. I did note that, and I did think that was a thing that was happening.
He's a weird guy, this actor, isn't he? He's like,
he is.
He's like Eminem crossed with
like Troy
Michael Rappaport.
Michael.
He's got that Michael Rappaport, Giovanni Ribisi energy about him, but like angry.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, Joe Pantoliano, great actor.
I'm worried I'm going to be racist in saying this, but I think he's by far my favourite thing about the first Bad Boys.
No, yeah, he's a great character.
He's just so angry. I love it. So unnecessarily.
Like all the time. There's like no ebb and flow, no roller coaster of decisions, just pure like rage.
Oh! What did I say? Did you hear what I said? I heard what I said because I was standing there when I said it. I told you to secure a witness, not to shoot up a neighborhood, not to do another dead body. Just get the dope back and do it quietly.
I mean, I don't know to what extent this film was self-aware, but it feels like a meta mockery of this character trope.
Yeah.
They're always unnecessarily angry at the policeman in these films. They're always a bit too much. And in this, it's like they were like, yeah, fuck it. He's just going to be like furious all the time with no provocation, even when they're doing good work. But my best guess would be the actor thought it would be funny to play it that way.
I think that's
direct not to.
At one point, but it has to be satirical. At one point, they go and see him just to have a chat with him, and he's on a basketball court playing basketball, smoking a cigar, and he's angry. It just like if that's not deliberate comedy, then I don't know what the hell is going on.
I love him. I think he's fantastic.
But no, he's great. It brings in, again, great energy to him and fulfills that role of being the authority figure that has to, shout at them for blowing up half of the city. And, I got a bill for $200,000 and you killed 3 people. Of course, they never kill innocent bystanders. It's very handy.
Of course.
Or the car crashes and that. And the other 2 characters I want to bring up are the other buddy cops, the Hispanic buddy cops.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, the banter can all be really racial because some of them are black and some of them Hispanic, so it doesn't matter. It's fair game. Make as many race jokes as you want, Michael Bay.
But it's all right because they lampshade it. One of the characters says, "Why is it always about race with you?" And that means they can do all the race jokes they want.
Actually, they do that in the second one. So it's almost like it's almost like
a response.
We have to
criticism they received.
So yeah, I like these 2 guys as well. I think, but I really like the banter back and forth between those 2 and Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, because it does feel like people genuinely just throwing lines off at each other. I think they're all like, I don't know how improvised it was, but it feels very loose and kind of not scripted. And there's some really nice moments, especially with Will Smith, like where he calls them up because he needs to ask them for help, like serious. And so he says something like, "Oh, hey Sanchez, yeah, your mother. Look, we need this thing." It's just like this little line that drops in. It's like, we get over this bit. I need to talk seriously. I really like that sort of little business. I can't believe that that's in a script. It's just not something you would write. It's something that comes out of kind of free flowing dialogue. So I really like those moments, and that's exactly what I like about Bad Boys. It's that kind of human interaction. It's specifically Will Smith and Martin Lawrence bouncing off each other, but everything else as well. Joe Pantoliano coming in at them, and Téa Leoni even holds her own with them as well in a kind of very different attitude to them, because she's like very kind of quite stern and calm a lot of the time, where Martin Lawrence is bouncing off the walls. Now you know those 2. The other 2 detectives, the Hispanic guys or Cubans or whatever they are, and they're in the second film as well. No, it's different actors in the second film and playing different characters. They have different character names.
Oh, I do even know.
And played by different actors, you racists. So,
I can't be racist against Hispanic people, Alan, so I'm allowed to do that.
All right, you're off the hook. Yeah. Emily, you're a racist. Okay, so next.
Cool.
So, anything else about Bad Boys first one?
I don't think so. Just that I genuinely can't remember the end.
They have a big...
Yeah, I don't remember much of it.
There's a big explosions in an aircraft hangar thing.
Lots of explosions.
Car chase. Shoots the bad guy.
I mean, Michael Bay, to give him credit, Michael Bay is very good at putting an action sequence together. I don't think anyone can really deny that. That is his one talent.
It's all very quick edits. I can't be bothered with it. I'm not a fan of action stuff anyway. But
I don't know. I don't think it is all very quick edits. I think it's
I like his
more to it than
circular
that.
movements. I like his sort of
this is
big old famous shot where people stand up into the shot. Like I quite like that. I mean, it's overdone to hell now, but it's cute to see here.
In fact, I would say that if anything, his strength is that he doesn't rely too heavily on fast editing. He knows when to fast edit and when to let a shot play. I think he is a very good action director. It's just a shame that the rest of his films let it down.
He then has to also.
Well, yeah, he should be a second unit director, shouldn't he? That's what he should be doing.
And this film here, it more or less works on a very conventional level. There's just not a lot to set it apart from the pack. Was this pre or post The Rock, Alan?
Pre.
See, The Rock, he kind of had started to hone it a bit. That was a good film, that. Bad Boys.
Well, let's rate it then.
Not quite there yet.
You're not convinced. Go on. Give us your ratings.
Rate it. 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10.
6, is it? Okay.
A lot to like, a lot to not like. Too
I agree
long,
with
got
that.
bored, not very
I got
memorable. Very completely generic film, elevated by its cast and the action direction.
I think I basically agree with you. I just enjoy it more. There's definitely a little bit of nostalgia here with me, but I just really like the way they're riffing off each other, these particular actors and the energy here. So I gave it an 8.
Wow. I agree. I was going to give it a 5. Maybe I'll push that to a 6 because I was pleasantly surprised at points, but no higher than that.
I just needed it to like be a bit more assured of what it was doing and be a bit more weird and funny. And I guess they agreed because then they made Bad Boys 2.
Are you saying that's more assured?
It's far more assured
Are you saying that
of what
makes
it's
it better?
doing. It's far more willing to embrace. Bad Boys 2 is... I forgot how weird this film is. It's bizarre. The end, like, one of the big action set pieces near the end, like them chasing a truck transporting corpses around, cadavers around that have just been thrown all over the street, which is, that's the sort of film I watch, but those sorts of films don't normally get, hundreds of millions of dollars to play around with to make that sort of... it feels unusually offbeat for such a mainstream film. And you know what? I mean, this film opens with a KKK Klan rally.
Yeah.
And then Will Smith and Martin Lawrence pop out and shoot them up. And I mean, that is just... What an opening scene. It's fantastic.
Really?
You may notice that I'm a bit more excited about Bad Boys 2 now. My energy's gone up a bit. I did watch this one in the cinema, as I say, back in 2003. So I was a 13-year-old getting into a 15, being all grown up. And
I never did that. I never got into a movie that I wasn't the right age for.
Yeah, but you only watch kids' films anyway.
True.
Bad Boys 2 had this sort of allure of, a grown-up film. Oh, I've never really seen a film like this before. And it was in the cinema, which, I think makes a spectacle more enjoyable. And, this was peak me loving Will Smith. So I think I just got a lot more out of it. But honestly, I think sequences like them infiltrating the KKK are fantastic. And it is far beyond anything the first film. The first film is quite small and intimate by the standards of its genre compared to its peers. It's largely just Martin Lawrence arguing with Tia Leone in a flat.
Mm-hmm. That's what I like.
And then occasionally there's a big shoot 'em up like sequence. This second one is doing what the first film kind of promised and didn't, but it's also just so weird and offbeat and just has all these self-indulgent comedy sequences where like Martin Lawrence's daughter's boyfriend comes over and they spend 10 minutes.
That scene, just as a little sketch, is totally irrelevant to the plot. Apart from it does sort of cement they've bonded again. I guess that's kind of what it does. But it's a great scene. Like that, as just as a 5-minute sketch works.
But this is it,
and that's what I like about that. But that's the highlight of the film for me. That's what I like about the film. The rest of it, I'm not fussed about.
Who the fuck are you?
I'm Mr. Burnett. I'm Reggie.
What you doing here?
I came to take out Megan.
What?
I came to take out Megan.
How old are you?
I'm 15, Mr. Burnett.
Motherfucker, you look 30. Show me some ID.
I don't have none on me.
You don't have no idea. Get your ass up against that wall. What the fuck is your problem? You think you know it all? You little young Thundercats. You got joints on you?
No.
You smoke that shit?
No, sir.
You trying to get my daughter high? You smoke that shit?
Nigga, who that is,
It's
dog?
Reggie!
Who the fuck is Reggie?
Came to take Megan out.
What you want, nigga?
I'm here to take his daughter out.
What's your name?
Reggie.
Well, no, I heard a motherfucker say your name, Reggie. You taking Megan out?
Yes, sir.
How old is you?
15.
Shit, nigga, you at least 30.
That is this film in a nutshell. I think every individual scene in this film works really well. The problem is it's 2.5 hours long.
It's way too long.
And most of it's completely irrelevant bullshit. And they needed an editor to come along and chop it down.
Yeah, pick an ending.
Take the first hour out of the film and just give me, from the point where they chase all the dead bodies down the highway, from the rat bit where they're doing the rat infiltration, leave all that in, and then the ending. Oh, and the bit where Martin Lawrence takes drugs and is high at the chief's house. Leave that.
Like that. I guess my problem with all this is that these moments that you seem to appreciate felt for me too forced. It felt for me like a writer coming in and saying, "Oh, this is a funny idea," rather than people riffing off each other.
You think it felt contrived that Martin Lawrence has a glass next to his sink, and then Will Smith throws a bag of pills, and 2 pills fly across the room and into the glass, and then he pours himself a glass of water without noticing that there are 2 pills in the glass and downs them. You think that's contrived?
That's not my problem. My problem is the hilarity that ensues, which Martin Lawrence does very well, and I think it is funny, but it feels like a scriptwriter going, "Here's a funny scene for you guys, act that," rather than people
but I like that.
being funny with each other.
I like my comedies having jokes written into the script, because I don't trust Martin Lawrence to carry it on his own talent.
Well, there you go. I have a lot of faith in Martin Lawrence.
Honestly, I think, frankly, if you let me re-edit this film, if I could be asked to re-edit it, I think I could get a film that like I was utterly in love with.
Oh, you could definitely take 40 minutes out of this, no problem. Yeah.
Oh god, yeah. Like I trim every scene to about half the length, but I think the bare bones here are there for a film that I would love. The action as well. I have to say, you can tell Michael Bay's been growing as a filmmaker for 10 years. This is phenomenal action direction filmmaking. It does seem to be, a film that people have a soft spot for, even though they maybe know better. In a way that the first one isn't. I
don't like action, really. I'm not bothered about that. It's just bigger budget as far as I'm concerned, and just throw more explosions.
It's more ambitious with it, though.
There's definitely a lot more nifty camera work and stuff. Definitely.
Yeah,
a lot
exactly,
of that,
exactly. And that just gives the shootout with those
Haitians.
That whole sequence is just so much more energetic because there's more dynamic stuff that you can do. It's not just running around shooting. There's more, we can let the camera go through this hole in the wall and see what this person's doing on the other side, and then see how Will Smith's going to interact with that. And
do you know what? I don't know what it is. I do like that. I do appreciate that. I think it's good and nice work, but for some reason in this context or with Michael Bay or whatever, I don't know, it doesn't feel like clever photography or interesting photography. It just feels like, oh yeah, you're just doing some jazzy moves just to make it try and make it look nice. Which is there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't know why that just...
agree.
I don't like
to
it.
a point. Yeah. But I just think the first film was trying to do that without going far enough. And this film at least is doing that. It's doing what it sets out to do. I like that Martin Lawrence gets shot in the ass. I did wonder if maybe that was just to accommodate him not being quite as spry and agile after putting on the weight. I don't know.
He's wearing that fat suit from Big Mama's house.
I think the cast is just generally a bit better in this film as well. You've brought back most of what worked in the first film, but you also have Michael Shannon. An early turn from Michael Shannon. Completely
wasted,
completely
and also playing a clan member who doesn't say or do anything racist at any point, even as in a kind of acceptable in the film kind of way. In fact, he's pretty easily won over and just helps them out. It just felt like that was a missed opportunity. Make that a character or don't.
I don't know her name, but Martin Lawrence's sister,
Gabrielle Union.
I think she's good. I think she has a lot of brings a lot to a very nothing role.
Yeah,
she has a lot of charm.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's not much there in the writing.
I think she does a lot to make up for the absence of Tia Leone, who I did think it'd be nice if she was in the film, but
that'd be a bit forced. I think. I think we've lost Emily to the Conservatives now,
Sorry.
unfortunately. Because, as we speak, Britain has been plummeted into a Conservative majority, and the world is going to end immediately. It's a shame.
Yeah. I'm sad now.
Yeah.
And I did not care for Bad Boys.
What about Bad Boys 2, though? How did Bad Boys 2 relate to Bad Boys?
I mean, it was like different. It was weird. It wasn't anything that I like in a movie. It felt a lot more like Michael Bay's ramping up to Transformers.
Yeah, that's what I felt.
Yeah, I prefer it within the context of Hot Fuzz still, I think.
I'll tell you one of the significant change that I felt between the first film and the second film. Whereas in the first film, they're bad boys, they don't play by the book, but they get the job done. Whereas in this one, Will Smith particularly, it just comes across as incredibly aggressive, corrupt, brutalizing suspects and threatening people. There was just they really crossed a line somewhere. And become just really brutal, bad
just the
police,
worst boys, yeah.
As opposed to kind of we know how to bend the rules every now and then, and it left a bad taste in my mouth. Frankly, I didn't like the way the character was developed, and particularly Will Smith, because Martin Lawrence is trying to find his center and all that.
I think they crossed the line in the first film. They weren't very professional, so...
Well, that's it. There's loads of stuff in there, but I think in the tone of the film it works, whereas in this one it doesn't, and it's just a lot more brutal. They kill people.
I think I like that. that's more what I
want. Anything else specific you want to bring up?
No, I don't think so. I'm glad I've now seen them. I can tick them off a list.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'll be seeing them again anytime soon.
Do you think you'll be going to see Bad Boys Forever?
Bad Boys for Life.
Bad Boys for Life, shit.
Die Hard with a Vengeance. No, I don't think I will. Unfortunately. What is it the same vibe? Is it they're just what, are they out of retirement or?
I've not even watched the trailer. I don't know anything about it. Is Will Smith even coming back?
Yeah. It's not Michael Bay though, so that's something.
Okay. That's interesting.
But yeah, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are there. It feels definitely more Bad Boys 2 than Bad Boys.
Fair.
But it's like Martin Lawrence is doing more of a desk job because he needs to slow down because he's old.
Because he got shot in the ass. So.
Yeah, and then
is Martin Lawrence still alive?
Yes.
Is he? How old is he now?
55.
I just don't think I've seen him since 2003.
Oh, come on. I'm sure he's been doing lots of work.
I'm looking it up now. I genuinely don't think I've seen him in a film since Bad Boys 2. Yep, I have not seen him in anything since Bad Boys 2 came out, so there you go.
Are you saying you didn't watch Big Mama's Like Father Like Son?
Oh my God. Is that a
Wild Hogs?
movie?
Wild Hogs? That's good.
Oh my God.
You liar. Tim Allen vehicle, Wild Hogs.
Yeah, John Travolta, William H. Macy.
Oh yeah, John Travolta picks quality projects time after time.
It does look like he hasn't been working for about 5 years. There's no credit to something. Yeah, well, he had his time. Probably had better than he deserved anyway.
I think it's surprising they've only just got round to making a third one. But,
oh, they've been trying to do it for years.
But that makes sense. It's Will Smith, isn't it? I mean, that's why.
Yeah, they've had to wait until he was not busy.
You know, they say you make two Bad Boys films in your career. One on the way up, one on the way down. Maybe one in the middle.
Nice. I would give it maybe a 7 because it's slightly more imaginative than the other one. And it's more. It's the cinematography is a bit more exciting.
Yeah. Well, I also give it a 7, and I think, that's a very generous 7, but it does a lot that I really like, this one. There's so much in it that ticks boxes for me, the sort of thing that I like. It just upsets me that it isn't put together better.
I guess I'm just. It's not that I disagree with you particularly. We just obviously like different things. Because all the things that you're saying you prefer about this is what I don't like, and there's things I liked in the first one, real character stuff and all that. So I give it a 5 out of 10.
Real character stuff.
Yeah. Actors bouncing off each other. I liked it.
I'm just looking up Bad Boys for Life now. Vanessa Hudgens is in it.
Nice.
Is that
I
a good
her.
thing? Who is she?
Vanessa Hudgens. She's like a Disney, one of the
High School
Disney.
Musical, Spring Breakers, and now she's doing all the Netflix Christmas movies.
I think Justin Bieber went out with her for a while when he was still like before he became quote unquote cool.
Before
when
puberty.
he was still like
Okay, yeah, I don't know.
Vanessa Hudgens, man.
I don't watch High School Musical, to be honest with you.
An odd choice.
We'll have to do that next.
No. Yeah, there is. I think Will Smith has a new partner, so that might be her. But then
Nice.
they have to rescue. Maybe they rescue her. She has to come out of retirement to help or something.
Couldn't they have partnered him up with Tommy Lee Jones? We know that works well.
No, he is dead. Tommy Lee Jones is dead. Okay, well, we have to finish because the city is on fire outside my window. I don't know about you, but
same. A
riots
trash
abound.
can's just been chucked through my bedroom window. So I should probably deal with that.
It's very hot.
There's a bottle of wine with my name on it in the living room that I need to go and shot into my eyeballs. So.
All right. Well, bad boys like Boris Johnson and Jacob Rees-Mogg, you bad boys, stop selling the NHS, you bastards!
Oh God! Don't, because they'll use that in the next election campaign. They'll
just them coming out singing Bad Boys.
They'll reenact a scene from Bad Boys 2 with the two of them like in a car singing "Bad Boys, Bad Boys, what you gonna do?" And they'll like chuck a Jeremy Corbyn impersonator into the back of the car.
It's Joe Pantoliano.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it when politicians like try and get down with the cultural references. Okay, well, thanks again, Emily.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I don't have any original opinions on Bad Boys.
We've just been completely crushed tonight.
And I'm sad now. So
unfortunately you fell straight into the stereotype trap that we laid for you by not liking Bad Boys.
I didn't mean to. I really wanted to not, but they did that one too many. They blew up one too many cars, and I was like.
Do you know what, Emily? Earlier today we had unconfirmed reports that we have a female listener. So. There you go. We obviously have to cater to the woman's ear now.
It's not me, is it?
No, it's not you. That's what we were shocked about.
Yeah. We did there is this anyone's friend? Alan, is this someone?
Yay!
Is this someone you like started dating or something? What is this? No.
I'm sorry I couldn't bring more original opinions to our gender, but unfortunately, much like the industry itself, often the entire gender is having to be reflected by just the one person. So I cannot have all of the opinions and personality traits. Sorry.
Well, do you want to quickly plug your podcast before we go?
Yes. Why This Film is a podcast where we rewatch movies from your childhood. Either ones you haven't seen in a while or ones that you watch quite frequently, and then we have a chat about it, usually over a glass of something alcoholic, and we see how well it held up, see if you think it's terrible now, if you are looking back on your 7-year-old self, like what was wrong with you. It's very fun. I'm trying to reach out to different demographics, because at the moment there's a lot of sort of 80s and 90s movies in there, so if you are a child of the 70s or around that sort of time, please come on.
All our listeners are 19-year-old boys. Like Bond.
Amazing. But yeah, check it out. It's on Spotify, Castbox, Apple Podcasts, obviously. We're all across social media as well, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and you can email into us at whythisfilmpodcast@gmail.com if you have an idea for a movie or if you want to come on the podcast yourself. I'm always looking for guests.
Can I also, just while we're on Instagram, we're on Instagram as well, at DimReturnsPod. But I just want to give a shout out to Chris Cardus. Do you know who that is, Sol?
No idea.
I don't know who he is either. But not only does he like all our posts on Instagram, he likes them within about 4 seconds of me posting them. So he's definitely our number one Instagram fan. So he also left us a very erudite comment about an episode recently on our Facebook.
Oh, really?
Yes, about the Star Wars one. Did you read it?
Oh, I did, yeah. It was a very good comment, that.
Yeah, actually well thought out and well written comment, which is something quite unusual. So yeah, I want to give props to Chris Cardus. Thanks for supporting us and keep liking everything on Instagram. It makes me feel validated. All right, well, that's it.
Nice.
We'll be back again next week.